For this summer top, I am going to use this GAST mercerized cotton yarn, which is a beautiful yarn, and the size 2.5 crochet hook. The first thing I am going to do is to wind my hunk of yarn into a ball, and if you would like to know how, there is a video tutorial on it. So let me wind my yarn and I will meet you then. Start the summer top by crocheting the caps. We need to crochet 2 similar caps, and I have already crocheted the first one. We start each cap by crocheting a square. Here you can see the square, and in order to crochet this square we need to have a foundation row of chains. The number of chains will depend on the size I need to crochet. The ideal is to know your measurements. Let me show once again. So what you need to have measured is the distance from your underarm at about where your armpit is to the center of your nipple. So you place the measuring tape beneath your breast from where your armpit is to the middle of your nipple, and this will give you the centimeters you'll need for this square. Just for your reference, I am going to crochet this top for a girl who is wearing 85C bra size in European sizing or 38C size in the US sizing. So I know that my square needs to be about 11 centimeters. So let's check. I need 11 centimeters for my square for the size I'm crocheting, and in order to have 11 centimeters of my crochet project I will need to crochet 28 chains. Also, because I am going to use the Suzette stitch, my number of chains should be a multiple of 2. That's why I am going to crochet 28 chains. Of course, you know how to crochet chains. If you need some practice, there are videos on how we do it. I have wound my hunk of yarn into a ball, so now I'm ready to start. I'm using a 2.5 crochet hook and I start crocheting my chains. So I have crocheted my chains. I will check with my measuring tape if I have 11 centimeters. When you measure your chains, please don't stretch the foundation row very much. So as you can see, I have 11 centimeters. And now I am ready to start crocheting the first row of my Suzette stitch. If you need a more analytical tutorial on how we crochet the Suzette stitch, there is a video on it. It's an easy stitch and very beautiful. What we'll do is that we are going to skip the first chain and we are going to insert our hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. So in this way I have crocheted a single crochet stitch, and now I'm going to crochet a double crochet stitch. I'm using the American terminology, so yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. So I have crocheted 1 single crochet stitch and 1 double crochet stitch into the same chain space. This is very important. You have to crochet both stitches into the same space. And now I am going to skip the next chain, and again I am going to insert my hook into the next one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. So I have a single crochet stitch and yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops and yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. So I have created my second Suzette stitch. Now again I am going to skip the next chain and insert my hook into the next one. The logic behind why we skip one chain and we crochet only into every other chain is that because if we crocheted into every chain, then we would end up with double the stitches. So by skipping one, we end up with the same number of stitches as our foundation row. Again, I am going to skip the next one, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through both loops, and I created a single crochet stitch, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. Skip the next chain, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. Skip the next one, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops and yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. And we continue in the same way. Please crochet the Suzette stitch at your own pace until you reach the end of this row, our foundation row, and I will meet you then in order to show you how to turn and create your second row. So I have finished crocheting my Suzette stitch. I have 2 more chains, so I am going to skip one of them, but into this very last chain I am not going to create the Suzette stitch. I am just going to insert my hook and pull through and create a single crochet stitch. This is the only difference. In the last chain you should only crochet a single crochet stitch. It's a good idea to always check the size of the project when you first start crocheting. So as you can see here, I have 11 centimeters. As I said, I need 11 centimeters. And also if I check with the other cup, which I have already crocheted, I have the same size. Also, if I count the number of Suzette stitches, there should be 13 Suzette stitches plus 1 single crochet stitch. So now I need to turn. What I'm going to do is to chain 1 and turn to the left. And here, into this very first stitch, I am going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, so I have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through, so I have crocheted a single crochet stitch, and then yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. And now I am going to skip this suzette stitch, and here I am going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull through. So I have a single crochet stitch, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops, and I have finished the suzette stitch. Again, I am going to skip the previous one, insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. And we continue in the same way until we reach the end of our row. So please continue in the same way, and I will meet you at the end of the row. Now I'm almost at the end of my row. This is where you should be very careful, because as you can see, this last stitch is kind of slanted and it creates a curve, so be careful not to miss this one. This is your last stitch where you should crochet a single crochet stitch only. So insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, so 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So I have finished my row by crocheting a single crochet stitch, and again I'm going to chain 1, turn to the left and start over by inserting my hook here, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through both loops, so creating a single crochet stitch, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and yarn over and pull through the second 2. And then I'm going to skip the next stitch, this one, so I'm going to insert my hook here and create my suzette stitch. And we continue in the same way until we have the height we need in order to cover the distance between underneath our breast and the middle of the nipple. So here you can see how my square is progressing. I need some more rows because for the size I'm crocheting I need to create a square of 11 to 11 centimeters. So I need to crochet a few more rows. Please continue until you have the size you need for the square. Sometimes it's not going to be a square, it might be a small rectangle according to your measurements, and I will meet you when I have crocheted 11 centimeters. I'm about to finish my square. I can check it with this one, and also I will use the measuring tape to measure my square in order to check if I have 11 centimeters. So I have 11 centimeters in height and 11 centimeters in width. And now I am ready to go on with the summer top, the next part of the summer top. Please let me finish this row by crocheting a single crochet stitch in this last stitch. If you would like to know how many rows I have crocheted, I have a way to count them. I count 2 rows at a time because if you look carefully, let me zoom in so I can show you. If you look carefully, there is a kind of horizontal row division created between every 2 rows. So if I count my rows, I have 24 rows, and this is the 25th row. And what you need to do is to always have an odd number of rows for your summer top in this part, and a good way to check it is that you have the tail of the foundation row to your left. Always please have the tail on your left. Now we are going to go on with our pattern by doing something different. What I need to do now, please let me show you here in one other cup that I have crocheted, is this. I need to create this curve in order to be able to crochet this part of the cup that will cover the rest of my breast, because let me show you again. Up to now we have crocheted the part that covers up to here, the middle of the nipple, so we need to crochet the part that will cover from here to here. So what I'm going to do now is this. As I have already said, I'm on the 25th row. Of course, you will be on the row that is appropriate to your size, but always please check to be on an odd row. So now, if I would continue crocheting in the same way, I would turn and work this way. But now I'm not going to do this. Now what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to crochet 2 Suzette stitches in the same place, and then I will continue working this way. I'm going to work on the side of my square, because this will give me the curve that I need for the cup. So what I'll do is, first of all, I have already crocheted a single crochet stitch, and now I'm going to insert my hook and crochet a double crochet stitch, and then in the same gap I'm going to crochet a single crochet stitch and a double crochet stitch like this, and in this way here I'm ready to turn and work on this side of the project, on the left side. And if you would like to remember where you have crocheted 2 Suzette stitches, you can use a stitch marker. Now I am going to continue by working on the side of my square, so I'm going to crochet Suzette stitches on the side, on the, let's say, on the left side. So what I'm going to do is to insert my hook into, let me find the gap please. So I'm going to insert my hook into each gap and crochet Suzette stitches. I will skip the Suzette stitch of the previous row, and I will crochet a Suzette stitch in the next gap, and I will continue in this way, crocheting Suzette stitches on the side of my project now, until I reach the end of the side. So please work your Suzette stitches, and I will meet you when I am here, just before the last stitch where the foundation row is. So here I am at the end of the side. Here, please don't forget to insert your hook and create the Suzette stitch on this very last stitch of the foundation row. So in this way I have finished crocheting on both sides. This is going to be like this when we turn. From now on, what we need to do is to crochet on this side and then on this side, and then again to repeat this in order to create please let me show you, in order to create these rows that will cover our breast. So what I need to do now is to just, please let me insert my hook, and I am going to chain one and turn and work my Suzette stitches in the usual way. So here I'll insert my hook and crochet a single crochet stitch, a double crochet stitch, then I will skip the next gap and I will crochet here like this, and again the same way. I'll crochet all this side until I reach here. Please meet me when you reach the stitch marker, or if you remember where you have crocheted 2 Suzette stitches in the same space. I have reached the stitch marker. Please let me take it out. So now what I will do here is to crochet a Suzette stitch like this, and I will crochet only one Suzette stitch here, and then I will go on to work on this side in the usual way. If you would like to remember where your 2 Suzette stitches were, you can just place your stitch marker back, but it's up to you. So I will crochet this side now and I will meet you then. And I have finished this side again. Now I will continue working the same way. So my project will be like this. As you can see, these rows are like slanted, because in this way they create the shape of the cap. So what you need to do now is to keep on crocheting like this and then like this until you reach the size you prefer, and this depends on how covered you would like your breast to be. Just please keep track of how many rows you crochet, because when you crochet the other cap you will need to crochet exactly the same number of rows. I have finished crocheting the cap by crocheting these slanted rows, as you can see. For the size I'm crocheting, I crocheted 16 rows, taking care to be on an odd row when I start the next part. And I know this because the tail of the foundation row is on my left. And now I am going to start crocheting the straps of the summer top. Of course, if you prefer, you can stop right here. This is a cap, and this is a very basic way to crochet a cap, so you can use it in other projects. When I crochet the other cap, I will have to do something different, but this is because I'm using the Suzette stitch. If you use a plain stitch, then you can just repeat this for the other cap. So now I'm going to crochet the part which will be the straps for the summer top, like this here. As you can see, for this pattern I decided to continue crocheting the straps without cutting off my yarn. This is a way to do it. Of course, there are other ways if you would like to use different straps. What you need to know in order to crochet the straps now is, let me show you, is the distance from where your cap ends to the nape of your neck. So please measure this distance with a measuring tape, and when you know how many centimeters this distance is, for example, in my case, it's about 27 centimeters, you are going to crochet a strap for this distance, but because you need your strap to be a bit stretchy, it's better if you crochet 4 to 5 fewer centimeters than the actual distance. So I'm going to crochet for this cap, I'm going to crochet 24 centimeters for the strap. And I'm going to start my strap using the Suzette stitch. Let me turn because I didn't crochet the turning chain. So chain 1, turn, and now I'm ready to start this row of Suzette stitches, creating the strap. As I said, please pay attention to have the tail on your left. If you see here, this is the strap. You can crochet fewer stitches, so your strap will be narrower or wider. But I think this is a nice size for my strap. As you can see, the strap is not straight. It kind of leans to the left. And in order to do this, I will crochet 4 Suzette stitches and a slip stitch into every 4th row. Please let me show you here. I'm going to frog this very first row of the strap that I have crocheted, and I will start over. I will start working on the strap by crocheting Suzette stitches. So I'm at the end of the row, chain 1, turn. I'm going to crochet 1 Suzette stitch here, 1 Suzette stitch here, 1 Suzette stitch here, 1 more Suzette stitch, so 4 Suzette stitches in total, and then I will insert my hook and I will create a slip stitch like this. And I will do this into every 4th row. If it's easier for you, you can use a stitch marker to remember on which row you have crocheted a slip stitch like this. And then after the stitch marker, you will crochet 3 rows of Suzette stitch in the usual way, and then again you will crochet a slip stitch. So please let me show you how to turn. Chain 1, turn, and here I am going to create my Suzette stitch in the normal way. And now I'll crochet Suzette stitches. I need to crochet 4 Suzette stitches in total, and on the last stitch here I will crochet a single crochet stitch. So this is my first normal row. Now I'm going to crochet another one in the usual way. Here in this last stitch I will crochet a single crochet stitch, because this is the way we always end our rows of Suzette stitch, like this. And now chain 1, again turn, insert my hook and create the Suzette stitch. Here a Suzette stitch, here another Suzette stitch, another Suzette stitch, here at the end of the row a single crochet stitch. Let me find where to insert my hook. So here, chain 1, turn. So this is my 4th row. I have crocheted 3 rows of Suzette stitch in the regular way. Now I'm going to crochet this row with the slip stitch at the end. So 1 Suzette stitch, a 2nd Suzette stitch, a 3rd Suzette stitch, a 4th Suzette stitch, and here now this is the end of the row. Instead of crocheting a single crochet stitch, I am going to crochet a slip stitch by inserting my hook, pull up a loop and pull up the yarn into the loop on the hook, and I will continue in this way. If you like, you can move your stitch marker to this row, so you know that here you have created a slip stitch. And now I am going to crochet 3 rows of Suzette stitches, and on the 4th row at the end I will crochet Suzette stitches with a slip stitch at the end of the row, and I will do this until I have the centimeters I need for the strap. So please continue until you crochet the centimeters you need for your strap, and I will meet you then. So I have crocheted the length of the strap. As I said, I didn't crochet the exact length because this needs to be a bit stretchy, and also I'm going to add an edge to my summer top, so this strap is enough for me. The next thing I should do is to crochet 1 more cup. I'm going to start the 2nd cup by crocheting my square 11 by 11 centimeters for the size I'm crocheting. Of course, you are going to crochet the size you need. Please crochet this square, and I will meet you then because we need to do something different. I have finished my square. This is my 11 by 11 square. You can check like this or use the measuring tape to check. Please be extra careful to have exactly the same size with the other cup. This is very important. And now I have to tell you some things. As we've said, I crocheted this summer top using the Suzette stitch. There is a wrong and a right side on the Suzette stitch. So as you can see, this side, which is the right side, looks different from this side, the wrong side or the back side. So now what I need is to crochet these slanted rows for the cup, but as you understand, now these rows should be on this side of the square, because then I will need to join these 2 cups together, and so I have to have the right side of, or the front side of my square like this. And you can tell that because the tail of the foundation row is on the left. So what I need to do is, as I said, I have finished crocheting the square. Now I'm going to pull up my yarn and cut it off. So I'm going to cut off the yarn. If you want, you can stretch this tail a little bit, to secure it. If you would like, you can weave in this tail now using your hook, or later, it doesn't really matter when you do it. Please let me finish this and I will meet you then. Now I need to crochet these rows, the slanted rows that cover our cleavage, and the first thing I need to do is to join my yarn on this side of the square. So on the opposite side of the tail, I am going to join my yarn. You can join the yarn any way you prefer. You can make a slip knot and then join it. Just be careful to join it at the very first stitch. So what I do is this. I think it's easier. And now I am going to work my first Suzette stitch on the same space. So I'm crocheting a single crochet stitch. I am careful to work over this tail too, because in this way I secure my work. So now I'm crocheting a double crochet stitch, and I'm going to continue working Suzette stitches in the gaps like this until I reach the end of this row. So here so please continue crocheting Suzette stitches at your own pace, and I will meet you when you are about here, one stitch before the end. I'm at the end of the row. Here, as you can see, it's a bit bumpy because it's where I cut off the yarn, so it's there is a bump. What I need to do here is to create this double Suzette stitch, which will give me the curve I need for the cleavage. So what I'm going to do is to insert my hook here, crochet a single crochet stitch and a double crochet stitch, and again in the same space I'll crochet one more Suzette stitch. So one single crochet stitch and a double crochet stitch. And if you would like to remember where you've crocheted this double Suzette stitch, you can use a stitch marker like this. And now I'm going to work on this side of my square, and again I'm going to go back and forth. So please continue working on this side. You can always check with the tail of the foundation row. So when you reach the end of the side where the tail is, then I will meet you and tell you how to turn. So here I'm almost at the end of the row, so I need to crochet a single crochet stitch in this last stitch, and now I'm going to chain one and turn and work my row as I would normally do. From now on, what you are going to do is to work the number of rows you have crocheted on this cap. So I'm going to crochet 16 rows because I have crocheted 16 rows on this cap. Of course, you are going to crochet the number of rows that you crocheted for this cap. You don't have to do anything different. You are going to crochet Suzette stitches here. When you reach the stitch marker, you are going to crochet one Suzette stitch as usual, and then go to this point and turn again and work your next row. I'm going to work up to here now, and then I will meet you for this row and show you how to go on. So here where I had crocheted my double Suzette stitch, Let me take out the stitch marker. I'm just going to crochet one Suzette stitch between these two. And now I will continue working on this side. Again, if you would like to remember where your double Suzette was, you can put back the stitch marker, but it's not really necessary. And please continue working in this way until you have the right number of rows. So now I'm going to crochet this side, and then I'm going to go back and crochet up to this side until I have the same number of rows with this cap. Please do it and I will meet you then. I have crocheted the slanted rows for this cap. Now you can get an idea of how your summer top will look like. So I have finished this cap. Now I'm ready to start crocheting the strap of this cap. The first I need to make sure that I have the right size for both caps. A good way is to measure. Of course, please make sure that you have crocheted the same number of rows, and now you can also check by measuring this part of the cap, which is the part from the foundation row to the row that we start crocheting the strap. So here we have 18 centimeters, and now I will place my measuring tape and measure the other cap, 18 centimeters here as well. So now I'm going to start crocheting the straps. If you remember, what we did was to chain one, turn, insert the hook and crochet a Suzette stitch here, skip the previous stitch and another Suzette stitch here, and another Suzette stitch here, and 3, so one more, another Suzette stitch here. So now I have 4 Suzette stitches. I am going to insert my hook here and pull up a loop, which I'm going to pull through the loop on the hook and create a slip stitch. So here I have crocheted the slip stitch. The only thing that you can notice is that now I'm working on the back side of my Suzette stitches. You can tell because there is a difference, and also you can tell because now the foundation tail is here on the right. So this is the right side or the front side of my summer top. Now I am going to crochet 3 more rows, and at the end of the 4th row I'm going to create a slip stitch in the same way I crocheted this strap, because in this way my strap will be leaning towards the nape of the neck. So please crochet this strap as well. Just please stop 4 rows before the end of the strap, because I would like to show you how to create a buttonhole. If you would like your summer top to have a button at the back, then please stop 4 rows before the end of the strap. Otherwise you can go on crocheting until you have the exact same length of the strap. Here I am. I have crocheted the strap, but I have stopped 4 rows before reaching the same length of the strap of the other cap, and this is because now I will need to crochet something different, because I would like to join the 2 straps of the summer top using a button. So I'll sew a button here, and here I will create a buttonhole. Of course, you can always use your crochet hook or a darning needle and just join the two straps. But let me show you the other way using the buttonhole. So here I am, I have finished this last row. Now what I need to do is to turn by chaining one, and I'm going to insert my hook and create a Suzette stitch in the usual way here, like this. I'm going to crochet my next Suzette stitch. So now on this row I have crocheted 2 Suzette stitches, and now I'm going to crochet 3 chains, and then I'm going to skip these 2 Suzette stitches of the previous row, insert my hook, crochet a Suzette stitch, and here I will crochet my single crochet stitch as I always do. Now I have created this hole, which is the buttonhole for the button that I'm going to sew here. The thing you should know is that the buttonhole should be as large as your button is going to be. So if you use a bigger button, you should leave more space, or if you use a smaller button, you should leave less space. And now what I'm going to do is to chain one and turn. I'm going to insert my hook here and create a Suzette stitch like I always do, and now I'm going to work here into the buttonhole. So I'm going to insert my hook and create a Suzette stitch in the gap which is created by these chains, and again in the same gap I'm going to create one more Suzette stitch. So now I have 3 Suzette stitches. Now I will crochet a Suzette stitch here, and I will finish with a single crochet stitch. So in this way I have the 2 out of the 4 rows of Suzette stitch, including this one with the buttonhole. I'm going to chain one and turn, work a Suzette stitch here as we normally crochet the Suzette stitch, and here and here, here, and here. And now I need to crochet my very last row, so chain one, turn, and crochet my Suzette stitches, and here I have already cut off my yarn, but you shouldn't do that. You should wait until you finish this row. So here a single crochet stitch, I'm going to pull up my yarn and in this way secure it, and I have finished this cup as well. So now I have both cups. What I need to do is I'll sew a button here on this side, and this will be the buttonhole for it. Now the next step is to join my 2 cups together here at the cleavage, and then I'm going to crochet the band, meaning the part that is at the side of your body, and the back. So this is the way we can crochet 2 cups for a summer top using the Suzette stitch. Of course, you can use any other stitch you like and follow the rest of the instructions. Now I'm ready to join the 2 cups and crochet the band and the part of the back. So please subscribe to my channel to get notified when I upload this part of my tutorial. Thanks for watching and bye for now.